What if peace wasn't something distant, but something we practice together? Presented by New Thought Media Network, this is the Peace Dialogues with Reverend Christy Semple. Hear from today's peace influencers. Discover new perspectives on growing peace. Explore practical spirituality you can live every day. Because peace isn't just an idea, it's a way of being. Find out how you can become a peace influencer too. The Peace Dialogues with Reverend Christy Semple. Thursdays at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network. And now, here's Rev Christy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining us today. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Peace Dialogues, where we inspire new awareness that the garden of peace is growing in our world and the seeds of peace are being planted and nurtured by people just like you and me every day through practical spirituality in real life. Today and each week, we hear from a peace influencer who's involved in activities that are inspiring peace in our world every day. And we'll learn a whole new perspective on what it really means to grow peace and how we can be peace influencers too. I'm your host, Reverend Christy Semple. I'm a fellow gardener with you in the garden of peace in our world. And we're going to have a peace dialogue here today that will open us up to have new eyes to see that peace really is happening right here and right now. So join me, please, in welcoming our guest, Jim Babcock, RScP. And welcome. Jim, so glad that you're joining us here today. And we're going to have some wonderful peace dialogue here today. And before we get started, I want to share some background about Jim. And he has a rich background of wonderful life experiences. And Jim grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he went into the Air Force in 1973, became an air traffic controller and worked in the air traffic industry in many capacities for 37 years. Oh my goodness, lots of experiences there for sure. And along the way there, he became a licensed spiritual practitioner, and he has been one for 32 years. Thank you. 32 years as a licensed spiritual practitioner. And he served in many ways in leadership, spiritual leadership and teaching, including being a youth director, a board member, a senior practitioner, spiritual director of a center. Oh my goodness. A teacher, a wisdom leader, and a sage. So much experience and wisdom there. And we're going to be hearing more about that in our dialogue here today. And Jim lives in Colorado with his wife. They have 2 adult children and enjoy a life rich with the bounty of love. And I know Jim. I'm so grateful to know Jim as a fellow prayer team member here in the New Thought Media Network. And I love to hear Jim pray because I know he loves to pray oneness and the presence of spirit in and through all. And it shines through when he prays, and the feeling of that. It's beautiful. And so welcome, Jim. I'm so pleased and grateful that you are here in Peace Dialogues today. And with your wonderful t-shirt, and we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. I'm so grateful that you are here. And we have helpful to start out here with an idea, the idea of recognition. And Jim and I have talked about this. Recognition is a good starting point for prayer, right? And when it comes to peace, and I'm going to turn that over to you and talk about the power of recognition. And each day, I shouldn't say not only when we pray, because that's very important, but recognition. I'll have you start us out in talking about that and how that relates to peace.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting me on your show. I really appreciate it. I love to be in conversation, be in dialogues with people who are trying to open up that doorway, deepen themselves in finding their way to peace. I know that the recognition part of life around peace is something that I hold dear, because everything in life whether it's love, whether it's joy, whether it's prosperity, they all cannot exist unless you have peace. And that's peace within, that recognition of that one place where everything else disappears. And you have this inner dialogue with yourself to align with what is true. And it becomes, this was an idea for me a long time ago, and it's become a reality for me in everything I do now. Every person I see, everything that shows up in life, I radiate peace. And a lot of times I'll say that is kindness, because there are only people in my life that are kind now. There are no other people. There is conflict. There's only people that are kind, and it all comes from that peace. I become a safe place for other people to be who they are and find out what really works for them.
Oh, that's beautiful. And relating that to recognition, you're recognizing the presence of peace. Mindfully, with awareness, you are recognizing it. And it is the nature of you, the nature of all. And as you recognize that, you see that, and you bring that into your life and inspire that in others. And that is part of who we are each day. And I love that. And there's a helpful reason that it's the first step when we talk about spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, that recognition. It is the beginning of that, and of all, right? That recognition of who we are, our essence, right? And that's what you're talking about there. And I love that.
It's something very sweet. It's so wonderful to be in that place and be with other people, and we just come together and we enjoy life. And it's a place where we can look around the world and see conflict. There is conflict going on in lots of places, but that doesn't mean I have to participate. I can still be in a place of peace for myself and for people around me. And I watch the world and I see that it is shifting. It is shifting. We are moving into a place of peace, a place that works for everybody. And like this T-shirt I have on, it came from John Lennon back in the late 60s. And he wrote this. He had the consciousness already. He's been spreading it, even though he's been dead, since that time.
You talked about the ripple effect, right?
Yep. Like it's so special to me. And I think those things are very important, to put ourselves out and express peace in a way that other people can hear, because they don't experience everything the way I experience it, but they can hear this and they can go into their own place of peace and find it. And I wear lots of T-shirts with lots of things on them that
I love that.
Give people a chance to talk maybe about empathy or compassion or whatever is on my T-shirt. People walk up to me and they tell me, I love that. And then we have a conversation that delves into something beyond what we're seeing in the world and what we are creating now.
Oh, that's beautiful. And there you go. That's being peace each day in who we are out in the world, and wearing a T-shirt for each person to see that and read that and take that in their own way, and to start a conversation. I mean, these are inspiring conversations, and that's a wonderful way to do that. And yes, I'd imagine, and reminding us of the power of imagination. Keep imagining, knowing, and seeing, right? And so that is a beautiful message. And you never know, some people will talk to you about it, but you never know the people that might not say something, but people still see it. And they take that with them in their day. And, you mentioned something that's so helpful, Jim. We're talking about recognition here. And, the different facets of recognition. I mean, we learn about recognition of the infinite all that is, the all and ever presence of the divine, recognizing ourself and all is an expression of that. Also, you mentioned about recognizing the things that are happening in our world. We're not pretending they're not happening. We are recognizing that things are happening. And the power of recognizing, even when that we see that out here, but that ever presence that is still always there. And that's that higher recognition. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that. We're not pretending here, but we are stepping back and remembering the peace behind it all, right? The presence.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that you, and you mentioned a couple of your other T-shirts, but you have one about empathy and, oh goodness, right? I think you said empathy and all kinds of
passion. I can't even think of all the things I have T-shirts about. And be the good, because we are all part of the world. And so if we could be the good in the world for ourselves, create that field of energy, other people will be too.
It's a very good point. It's a big world with lots of people, but each of us, what we do each day, and that's something helpful you're also reminding us of. You practice this every day. Every day it becomes a part of your day. And so that, just like tending a garden, right? Because we don't, I have flower gardens, vegetable gardens, and if you don't tend them regularly, all kinds of things sprout up and it gets out of control, right? And so it's the same with our mind, our consciousness tended each day, and it's natural. It's natural and good.
I love people. Okay. I love people. Everywhere I go, no matter where it is, if my wife's with me, if, a lot of times she'll want to go shopping and I'll just stay outside, sit on a bench, hang out. She comes back out and I've got 3 or 4 people sitting there talking because they all show up in my life. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. If I go into the local grocery store down here and I'm getting something, and the people who are checking me out, they know me because I've came in before and they want to talk, and people behind get irritated. But you know what? That we have that conversation and the people behind them go, huh? And they manage to bring that energy down that was all excited, and they find their own peace in that moment. So I love people. I love to engage, no matter what it is. We have great conversations, and people are just wonderful.
Oh, I love that. And that you're reminding us of something else very important here that's part of peace is, it's the human family. We are here in this experience with all these people, and to appreciate that and to, again, recognize that, and that enriches your day, enriches their day. And these are things that are related to peace. And, you're reminding me, with certainly the big, huge event that we just had on with the World Cup. And I didn't watch a lot. I know, but I appreciate the importance of it. But it reminded me, as you look out there and see all these people, you know that there's a large human family, but when we see them, you look out and see all these things. These are our fellow humans. And that's a powerful idea. We are all here on this planet together. And so you are making the most of that and recognizing that.
Well, and you recognize it in that field. And I know that's been going on forever. The World Cup, the football, we call soccer, is something that worldwide everybody knows about, everybody participates in. They might be against each other and be all crazy about that, but afterwards, they always come together. We had so many good experiences in this country, and people got to see what Americans are all about and what our country's about. And it was a good experience. We look at the politics and the way that is unfolding in our country. That's a temporary blip in peace, because that's not what people want. And people will gravitate to finding things that really allow them to enjoy each other and be part of this thing that we call peace dialogues. It's just a moment where we can play and have fun. We don't need that other stuff. We'll move out of that, move into something different.
Oh, well, that's and thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned another good word there about allow. It is that allowing of these activities, opening up to activities, to conversations you were talking about, having conversations with people. And oh my goodness, and it can be a wonderful and pleasant surprise, because so many times people do want to talk and visit and get to know each other, and again that shared that human experience. And these are wonderful things that you're pointing out, this these outer activities. And so I want to ask you also about activities, the spiritual practices that we do, including prayer, and how that it affects peace within, but it sows the seeds of peace in the garden of life. So I'll invite you to talk about, because you're, as a practitioner and prayer practice for yourself, for others.
Yes, it's a place of recognition of yourself as being the active ingredient in making God or spirit or whatever you call it move in the world in a way that shifts everything. And prayer for me is so important. I will pray anytime, anywhere. And sometimes that prayer, you want to call it a spiritual practice, is very simple. Something's going on that is out of my control, and it's just going on, and I don't want to fall into that story. And so I'll just close my eyes and breathe again, and come back, and I'm ready to be present. Being present is the key to all spiritual practice, being able to be present to the vibration within myself, all around me, how it connects everything. And I think that is allowing spirit to be in action through me. And that's how it makes a difference. I've been practicing this for a long time. So I used to do lots of stuff. It's been refined down to the very simplest things to make it work for me.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And you said so many key things there. And I love how you said you practice anytime, anywhere. And it reminds us of prayer it's a spiritual tool for every day, each day, for all kinds of things, not to wait until there's a challenge or a problem. It is that regular practice, and just like you said, and that knowingness, when you realize the power of it, and how it's everything that happens. It's spirit expressing, spirit, the divine. And so I'm really glad that you said that. And it is that recognition, that aligning with the divine. And when you're going throughout your day and you see things that are happening, it's that you're sowing seeds of peace. And I've heard other people talk about this too, when they are, if you're out and about, or if you hear this at home, you hear lots of sirens, or lots of police cars or fire trucks. and certainly that there's a challenging situation happening, and right in that moment you can recognize that God, Spirit, the Infinite is present there. Wisdom is present in that moment with whoever is part of that. It is there, even in the midst of the. But to know, and that is sowing the seeds of peace, of knowing that we aren't controlling what is happening, but we are sowing the seeds of peace that inspire that to grow and be present. And all the people that are there, wisdom is there, love is there, coming through, and there are interactions and solutions for what is happening there.
Yes, I like the word knowing, because as soon as that goes on, I know that the highest and best good is transpiring. Everything is going to work out exactly the way it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
And that is generated from the skill level, the people who know God in action, that peaceful place that people come from, how they center themselves in that moment, in
Mm-hmm.
that time that just disappears, the time that is no longer part of the experience. It's just God in action. I used to be in action that way as an air traffic controller. And I would come to work and I'd get a briefing from somebody. I'd plug in and say, okay, I've got it. And they would go on their break. And 2 seconds later, somebody's tapping me on the shoulder and saying, hey, it's time for a break. And I say, I just got here. And they say, no, you've been here for 2 hours. Everything disappears. We learn how to be present, and that presence is peace in action, because it gives everybody else an opportunity to be in that space with me. And in air traffic control, it's all these airplanes talking to me, and everybody gets what I'm doing, and they trust me to be there. And that's it. Trusting myself allows other people to see they can do it too.
That is a beautiful example. An example again in our everyday life when we're at work. And I mean there's a lot going on there, as you said, in being an air traffic controller. But that presence and that knowing and how that emanates from you, and the difference that makes. And here, those are the things that influences peace immediately around you and out into the world. And those are beautiful examples of. And I'm glad that you brought that up, as we again remind people in whatever we do, as in our work life or other activities, and we're in the midst of something like that. And that was something that was every day. That's a practice again every day. And I'm very glad that you brought up that example. And thinking of every day here at the New Thought Media Network, we're both on the Peace, the prayer team, and so we offer prayer twice a day, every day. And again, it's every day to inspire that regular practice. And the difference that makes. And I was going to go back to recognition, thinking of regular practice. And I love this. I heard someone say the other day that someone shared an idea with them that when they first wake up, before they get out of bed or anything, they recognize, I am the presence of Spirit through me, right here, right now, through me. What a beautiful way to start the day, to recognize that. And, that regularly. Because as you said, there's a lot going on in the world. And that gives us that, I'll say, foundation where we come from, so that we're not pulled into distress and anxiety. We hear things, we see things, but it helps us to stay aligned with that. Mm-hmm.
Not only are we starting the day off that way as recognition, but we're also affirming who we are, affirming
Mm-hmm.
that it makes a huge difference. Words about recognition without affirmation, they can slip away and we can
Mm-hmm.
be distracted.
Oh, that's that combination. Hmm. That combination of using that together. Yes, that blend, if you will, of the spiritual practices. And as you're talking about this, I know I've heard you use I love this, the word peace warrior, right? Peace warrior. And talk about that because it's a wonderful idea.
Well, I don't know. I think I stole that from somebody else, but for me, a peace warrior is somebody who engages people in a place where they don't know we're talking about peace. They just find it for themselves in that conversation because we are, I am living peace wherever I go, whatever I'm doing. So I'm a warrior in this big, huge playground, showing people that they can be strong. They can be just absolutely beautiful in that flowing energy that goes through them, being part of this peace process. And being a warrior just means being a leader. So
Ah.
I just
Mhm.
lead the way and let everybody else find their own way. And they usually find it in ways
That's
that
really
I
good.
would
Mhm.
never.
Mhm. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. For people finding their way, you aren't. It's not about having people say, "Oh, do it like this," or no. You're giving inspiration as as an example, as you see, you're leading the way in your thoughts and your actions, and
Yeah.
um, people see that and notice that, and it's up to them to they can take these same ideas but practice them in the way that works for them, and the key is that it does make a difference. And something else that I that you are it's you have such a beautiful way of expressing, and that's feeling. And I want to talk about the importance of feeling here, how that um, oh my goodness. And Ernest Holmes, the founder of the New Thought Teaching and the Science of Mind, was um, he spoke about feeling a lot, the importance of feeling, the importance of putting feeling into um, our with our imagination in our practicing prayer, how the difference that makes. And I'm going to have you talk about that because you express that beautifully in your prayers, that the feeling of that. And so I'm going to have you talk about that.
Okay. Well, I find that, or I found over my lifetime of doing this, is that a lot of science of mind in different churches, centers, whatever, is very heady. It's
Mm-hmm.
more about the science of how this works and it ignores the feeling. And when I was first being a practitioner, I was really good at that. I mean, I was, boom, I had that down pat. But I didn't really get the feeling part until, my wife and I followed a guru, and she absolutely changed my life in moving into this feeling place because I went and it's kind of like, ooh, I don't know. I just went because I was talked into it. And I really didn't have a big commitment, but I was up in the front row as my friends told me to go up there and sit there, get the energy and feel it and all this stuff. And I thought, okay, I did. And it was really nice until we started chanting. And 150 guys behind me chanting about blew my circuits out. I didn't know what to do. Next day, I come in and I sit in the very back row. We started out with a meditation. I think this is great, perfect. I like to meditate. I can breathe. And in the middle of meditation, Ma says to us, open your eyes and look at me. I'm going to send you liquid love. And I watched her go around the room over here talking or looking at people individually. And she started on ours up in the front and worked to the back. And when she looked at me, I felt this liquid love. I felt this energy flow through me. And I started sobbing. I couldn't stop crying for 30 minutes. I got connected to my feelings. And from that point on, every time that I saw her and went to an event and I came back to our church, everybody wanted to be around me. They wanted to get some of this energy. They wanted to feel. They wanted to feel all the stuff that I was feeling because it was missing. And then, eventually we hired a minister that checked in on all those feelings all the time, and it made a difference.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's very powerful, and it illustrates what we're talking about here. It is not only speaking words. I mean, our word is important, but the power that it gives to that, the feeling of knowing this, the feeling of imagining the new experience that we are affirming spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer for. Oh, yes. And again, Ernest Holmes wrote and spoke frequently about that's the power. It's a power that strengthens, I will say, or enriches and deepens what we are.
It ignites that flame within us and allows us to shine even brighter wherever we're going.
That's right. That's right. Because if we think about the power, if we're upset about something and the power of the feeling and how that can emanate out, well, that's exactly what we're talking about, the power of the feeling, of the knowing. There's a wonderful program, you probably know about the Heart Math program, and it's about that aligning of our mind and our heart, and the intelligence of the heart, actually, but that alignment and the power of that. And so I'm so glad that we spoke about that. And there's a website, a practitioner from, I think she's from the Huntington Beach Center for Spiritual Living. She started a website called One Daily Minute, dailyminute.org. Take 1 minute each day to imagine a better world. Now, the idea is it helps you to set a practice with 1 minute. You think 1 minute, it is really, when you think about how many minutes are in a year, and that practice, and then really what happens is that inspires you to expand upon that. And some days when it may be feeling challenging, when you feel like, if you start out with 1 minute to imagine, it helps to calm you down and can guide you into other spiritual practices. But you know that 1 daily minute, it's using imagination and feeling. But that feeling, oh my goodness, that feeling. And so we've talked about all kinds of wonderful things here, and we're about halfway through here. So we're going to take a very short 2-minute break. And I'm going to share just a couple quick videos about other wonderful things here on the New Thought Media Network. And then we'll come back and talk more with Jim Babcock, spiritual practitioner. And so we're going to pause for just a moment and stay tuned, because we have a couple of really nice things to show you. So we'll be back in just a few moments. We'll see you in a minute or two.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents The Global Heart of Peace's Peace Party. Celebrate the many paths to peace. Explore an exciting life of peace. Embody joyous peace. Come to our weekly Peace Party, Mondays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network. www.ntmedia.org.
What if you had a place to return to every day for peace, clarity, and connection? The New Thought Ministry of Prayer offers live morning and evening prayer, along with a growing library you can access anytime. This is a space for reflection, renewal, and real spiritual practice, rooted in the understanding that something greater is already alive within you. You are welcome here. Join us live or watch anytime. The New Thought Ministry of Prayer, part of the New Thought Media Network. Come, take a moment for what matters most.
There we go. There we go. And again, we have all these wonderful programs on the New Thought Media Network. You heard about the New Thought Ministry of Prayer, and Jim Babcock and I are both members of the prayer team twice a day, every day. And we also have the Peace Party, which is another program to share practical ideas about practicing peace and reminding us of the many facets of it and the joy of it. We are inspiring the understanding that peace it's a vast idea. It is a spiritual idea, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming to practice it. And before we go on, I'll share. You're feeling inspired by this and want to share your support. We welcome and appreciate any your gifts of one time or ongoing. And here's a link here to givebutter.com/peace dialogues to continue the work that we do here with this show and all across the New Thought Media Network. And I see that we have, before we continue, we have, thank you for joining us. Ronald Murray, thank you. Oh, I'm going to share, he shared a passage here from Peace, from Isaiah and from Micah. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And oh goodness, I'm still here. Can you hear me, Jim?
Yes, I can hear you. It gave me a message that you're just audio only.
All right then. Well, I am still here, and for some reason it's a technical glitch, but we're still here, and we can still have our dialogue. I'm sure it will come back in a moment. But I thank you. I'm so grateful that he shared this, reminding us, beat their swords into plowshares. It's about the working together, and and their spears into pruning hooks. In other words, the goodness, turn that into, maybe we're feeling the idea of the swords or the spears, and turning that into that working together. Because that is the natural way for us to be, isn't it? That it is the urge of life to work with itself. It's life working with itself. And so neither shall they learn war anymore. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And it reminds us of taking those passages and thinking about the work of a peace warrior indeed. And that's what we are talking about here. Oh my goodness, yes indeed. Thank you for sharing that. And again, my apologies for my not appearing on the screen here due to a technical glitch, which I'm sure will be resolved here in a moment. And I'm reminding also and you'll appreciate this, about being peaceful, not just peaceful, which is good, but peaceful, Full, peaceful. And so we have been sharing practical ideas here and life experiences and weaving peace into our lives. And I wanted to invite you, Jim, because you have referred to this, and I'm going to invite you to speak more about this, about listening, the power of listening within and around us. So I'll invite you to talk about that in relation to peace.
So listening comes in many forms. And so for myself, when I am stuck, when I'm having an issue, I will always become quiet. I will become quiet. And we've heard this in the Bible, but hearing that still quiet voice with which is our intuition, because we are part of the one, we are part of God. When we hear and we acknowledge, oh yes, that is what I need to do, and we be in action about it, we're listening to ourselves in a way that generates that peace that we talk about, that we try to express, but it comes out in a way that, wow, you can see the results instantly. And I love that part of me. But that's not the only way I listen. I listen to people all the time. And many times they are not saying what they mean, or they're attempting to, but they don't know how. And my job as a practitioner, as a human being, is listening to what they're not saying, listening to that space in between words that vibrates, that tells me what it is that they're looking for. And every single time, no matter what it comes up as, it could be, they're looking for a relationship, they're looking for money, that they're expressing that, but they're really looking for that peaceful place inside of them where they absolutely know this, that's inside of them, and they can generate all these things that they believe they don't have. They need to just put in that place, and I help them talk it through so they can recognize it. Not that I tell them what to do, but I work with them so they can hear what it is that they're trying to say. That's true listening.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful to listen to what is really being expressed there. And it is a skill that is learned and practiced as a spiritual practitioner, as a minister, because there are these core qualities, including peace, that are the essence of what is being desired. And so that the ears to hear, right? They speak of multiple times in the Bible, and that's what it's the ears to hear of what is being said, expressed behind it all. And that relates to peace. And it reminds us that there are so many facets to peace. And when we understand these facets, like listening, like presence that you spoke about earlier, and patience is another one, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And we spoke of empathy.
Right. And so a lot of times what happens is we are listening and we're engaging, but people, what they want to do is they want to go inside, they want to go to that peaceful place so they can feel that, express that, they want to know that for themselves. And one of the tools I use is, when I see this heaviness, all these things going on they're trying to, I make them laugh. I find something to say that will move them off of that space where they're stuck, and allow them to laugh. And they end up laughing about that. Then they end up laughing about themselves, and then they can drop into peace pretty easily.
Oh, there you go. Because staying in the intensity of the situation, fuels it more. And so, right, to open up, it's that opening up And these are all such good practical things, and I'm inspired. And again, I apologize for my not appearing on the screen due to a technical glitch, but we can still have our dialogue here. And I'm noticing some things, some more there with you in the room, including Yoda, right behind you. And
That
well,
might be Grogu, I think it is.
oh, is it? Oh, okay. Well, because I was going to say something about Yoda, the wisdom of Yoda, but and how we see wisdom expressed in so many things, including the character of Yoda. But going back to what we were saying, talking about listening, one of my favorite books, and you've probably read this, is 7,000 Ways to Listen by Mark Nepo. Oh.
I know of the book. I haven't read it for some reason, but that's okay.
Oh, well, I mean, we all have. I mean, I have a whole stack of books that wonderful books. It's very good and very practical, and reminding us of the ways to listen, even as we're walking down the street. It's listening to life, the presence of life, and life with a capital L, the life of spirit that is everywhere, and that's really what we're talking about here, isn't it? Seeing life,
Yes, it
and
is.
hearing life everywhere, including the creatures of the earth, including nature.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I know I've heard you speak of that.
Beauty.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, and recognizing that each day, and each day what nature shows us, and the wisdom and the intelligence that's always happening. The sun always rising, the phases of the moon always happening. That reminds us the presence that's always there. And that is what you are getting to the essence of here. And I want to, bring some things together here, about what we've been talking about here, talking about that recognition in ourselves and in others, and the daily practice, right? The daily practice of recognizing, of knowing, and the power of the daily practice, spiritual practice.
Yep. And that's all a choice. We make that choice every day, how we want to be, how we want to show up. And some days I've been cranky, and when I'm cranky, I know it, and I can make a different choice. So I'll sit with it for a little while and decide, okay, I'm cranky, and then I'll let it go eventually. And I don't have to be that way with other people. I can keep that in my container and then let it go. It's, a shift in the consciousness of who we are.
Yes.
That's just putting us back in that place where we know peace. We know ourselves as being part of the one, part of source.
Oh, there you go. Each day. And each of us a choice. And that's a very good point too, the choice. We all don't have to do this a certain way. There are these eternal qualities that are always the essence of everything, of life and love and peace. But it is our choice and how to see them and allow them and be them. And you remind us of the power of being who we are when we go out and about in the world. And we do all have our days, and just feeling that and knowing that, and then going out into the world and shining the goodness that we are. And we've talked about spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer here, and how we have that offer with the New Thought Media Network twice a day, 8:15 a.m., 8:15 p.m. Mountain Time. And it's a beautiful practice. And we invite you to listen to it, or on a center that you may go to, a faith community, working with someone who does prayer, and also to practice it yourself, these practices yourself, right, Jim? It's because that aligns you with what is being prayed about, and the peace, aligning with that. And another term that Ernest Holmes used is embody. And I'll invite you to say a few words about that before we finish. Embody is it's helpful to understand that and practice it.
Well, I think that embody is something that helps us center ourselves in what we believe, because we only have what we believe until we open up to something new. That embodiment continues doing the same thing over and over again. That's why I believe it's very important to connect with other people, to connect with other ideas, different cultures, different ways of seeing life, because that embodiment within us changes. It keeps creating something new over and over and over again. And it's a beautiful way of allowing spirit to express through me and be part of what my intention is every day, being part of peace, aligning that with everything I do. It allows me to basically be happy all the time. I enjoy life.
Oh, and that's well said. That's well said. Embodying, it's embodying it throughout all the aspects of who we are, what we do, and all the different activities and things that we do. Embodying is really being. It isn't only speaking peace, or saying an affirmation about it, which is all helpful and good, but it is throughout all that we do. Peace, love, joy. I have that throughout all that we do. All that we do, that is embodying. And again, practicing each day. And so these things that we've been talking about here are an inspiration and guide to do that, that embodiment. And so we're reminding everyone that peace it's not something to be overwhelmed by. It is something to joyfully practice. It's the joy of peace. It's not only quiet reflection, which is an important part of it, but again, that embodying. And Jim, you've shared some beautiful examples here today, and I appreciate that. And we'll do this again. We'll have you come back again to have additional peace dialogue here, and we'll look at your shirt one more time there. And yes, there we go. Imagine all the people. Oh, and I did want to say something about this. I'm glad you brought it up. All the people, about the different cultures and people from, appreciate that. All the different ways that spirit expresses, to open to that, to listen to that, to appreciate that. That it's the nature of life to be diverse, right? And when we say imagine that's all the people. And so thank you for wearing that shirt today. It relates just to what we're talking about here. So we thank everyone who has joined us today. And apologies, you're not seeing my face here due to a technical glitch, but I am here, and I am so grateful that Jim Babcock, RScP, spiritual practitioner, has joined us today. And we will do this again. Have him back again. And so we invite all who are listening now or at a recording to come back again to the New Thought Media Network, to Peace Dialogues and other shows that we have. So until the next time, peace, blessings, namaste. Know the good that you are right in this moment and every moment. Right, Jim?
That is correct. And I love doing this. I love talking about it. I love being part of something bigger than me. And I recognize that. And it's like, you're not on the screen, you're like God talking to me and making things change.
Ah, there we go. There we go. There, I love that. I love that. Your wonderful wisdom. And so we'll look forward to hearing that again. So until the next time, namaste.
Thanks for being
Namaste.
here and taking this time to practice peace with us. Join us again next week, Thursdays at 9 a.m. on the New Thought Media Network for another live session. And you can always catch past episodes on our YouTube channel. Until then, sending you waves of peace and blessings. We'll see you next time.